Logan, fall camp.
God, it feels good, Jay.
What's up?
It feels good, Mark. It feels nice. Feels like we're getting back to regular life. You know, got pads a little bit hidden. It's just shells, but actually have some stuff going on. You got maybe a quarterback battle. I think it's a pretty good one so far. And you've got youngins coming in and playing. Both majority of the practices so far, except for today's, there were split practices between a team A and a team B. Had a lot of the veterans in team A, and then you had some newcomers, including transfers and walk-ons and on team B. But as of today, everybody worked out together, and then now after practice, they immediately loaded up and they're already in Jacksonville over with James and Duval, and are going to plan a few days to practice at the UNF facilities. So. It just feels good to be back, and I think this is going to be a gigantic, just like the spring was, but this will be a big time fall camp, not only for, Mike Norvell and keeping that organization. He's a freak at it. He's a nerd. He loves being ahead on everything, but, there's a lot of battles too that need to be figured out. There's a lot of guys that need to be put in the right places, and they weren't last year. The defense was horrible. They had no communication. And that's got to be fixed, is where this fall camp has got to help after having a nice solid spring. And then quarterback, who, what is that offense going to look like if you are going to run, both quarterbacks out there? You've got, Jordan Travis. Is he going to go out and slot? Wide receiver, is Jordan Travis going to be the starter? Is Mackenzie Milton going to be the starter? Is the offensive line going to be able to hold up? So far, it seems like the defense as of today had a very nice day. The pass rush has been not really fair for a majority of these practices, but in today's presence alone, it played a factor on both quarterbacks. But Jordan Travis won the day overall.
Who would you say so far? Obviously, we're only 4 practices in, so nothing has been decided at this point. But who would you say are some of the players that have kind of, for lack of a better term, shined so far through the first 4 practices? And on the flip side, who are some of the players that may have disappointed a little bit through the first 4 days?
Just some names to start off with. Offensively, I love hearing this. I'm happy for him. Keyshawn Helton has been one of the most consistent wide receivers. Parchment's still getting a groove in there and getting a hang of that offense. He's so fresh and new at this offense, so I'm giving him some more time. But Keyshawn Helton has been very nice. Young freshman, 2 freshmen, Burrell and McLean, have been nice there at wide receiver. I'm going to keep staying high on Treshaun Ward because he just keeps on making plays and looks smooth as one of the. I think he might be the best running back in that room. Just haven't been able to see him play a lot in games, but he just excels in practices. I wanted to see it translate onto the field. But Ward, and then defensively, Travis J. This is what he does every start to camp. He does well. And he's solid. He's getting everywhere. Today he came with some tenacity and was very physical, which I love. In Madison County, he used to obliterate kids, and I'm all about it. I just need him to play smart and, not get beat on routes. That's one thing he's got to work on, because we know that he can go east to west quick, but I want him not to get beat on routes. But so far on his first couple of days of camp, things have gone well. And then Keir Thomas, he came into fall. I think he's trimmed down quite a bit since the spring, but he's came off the ball pretty fast. Him and Derek McLendon, we already know what we've got with Johnson, but it's good to have some other guys back there. Keir Thomas, I'm not going to be shocked you see him starting, against Notre Dame. I wouldn't say guys of disappointment yet until get a full week and such. I don't know. I won't really grade anybody on that. Just because it's just, guys are getting back in the groove of things. I'd have to think of some guys of maybe who are disappointed. I don't know if James has heard anything else too. But yeah, kind of the gist of it. Of the beginning so far.
On the flip side, you're going to actually have to say something negative that you're all about. Who are some of the players that you would like who have kind of either maybe disappointed, or disappointed is not the word you want to use, that need to improve after the first week?
Who do you think, James? Is it to me?
To either one of you. Or, you were seeing more practice.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think?
Need more work? I still think both quarterbacks, Jordan Travis and Mackenzie Milton, they still need more work. Jordan Travis is coming into his second year, getting this offense down, but, he's having to work a lot now with this defensive line in practice. That's just kind of, it's not making it fair. And Jordan Travis is able to excel right now because he is that he has that running threat. McKenzie Milton isn't like that anymore. I know, you know, we'll see it whenever, got to see a little bit of the spring game, but we'll see against Notre Dame. And if Milton's out there, it doesn't have that same ability, of course, like he used to. So, and Jordan Travis is just a baller. He knows how to run. He's a great running game threat. So he can utilize his speed and get out of there quick. But I think both quarterbacks, they still got a little bit of work to do, but it is promising that you have two guys that are going at it with one another. And to get better, can I say Dante Lucas? Seems like there's some things there that can still be improved on from the first little tidbits from camp. I want to see him do well, but it's always something mentally with him. And he's had so many off and on meetings with coaches and such. Like, you got to figure it out now, or I just don't feel like Norvell's the coach to just keep on having you around just to, blank the bucket. But so far, the thing is, everybody's dialed in, so I can't pick on somebody saying, "Oh, you know what? We've got Corey Durden that just doesn't care about what's going on." Blank's also making distractions. Everybody's kind of dialed in and zoned in right now. We'll see how long it lasts, though. Because you could face Notre Dame and lose by 20 points, and that's just, you can lose that.
James, is Logan being too high on the program right now, or is he's spot on right now? What is your thoughts?
No,
I talked. I didn't say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to treat Logan like I treat a lot of the beat.
Treat him.
No.
Respectful Logan, because I agree with him for the most part, because you really just don't know. I mean, what are we? Again, we're a 3-6 ball club, and we've never been in this situation before. So I really don't know what we are. Obviously, our offensive line is improved because there's more depth. And who he talks about, who I want to see them all improve. I want to see and I definitely want to see Dante Lucas. I want to be honest with you, me being tremendously harsh, I'll admit. But if you ask me, I don't understand why him or Bavian Johnson are on the team. Just based upon their performance and attitudes, they're wasting 2 scholarships. But I do know Lucas. I know there's something that Atkins feels is a redeemable quality for what they have. So that's why he's there. I trust Atkins more than I trust almost any coach on the staff. So that I go with that. Defensively, I don't know. I haven't heard enough about Coop. For Coop to be a guy who last year was considered one of the top D tackles coming into preseason. And for him to have such size and even when I made the mistake of watching his film coming out and comparing him, not saying he was, but saying he has the trajectory to be like a Vince Wilfork because he's a big, explosive individual. I haven't seen anything close to that since he's been there. And he's the vet. You need him. You need him to be that guy. But the most disappointing unit, even though I will say there are 2 guys in that unit that I'm at 3 maybe. Dix Jr., I know what he is. They've got to figure. I hope they know what he is. He's a downhill linebacker. Don't put him in space. Don't do anything to try to make him Ernie Sims. That's not who he is. Let him strike, blitz him, do whatever you need to do. But we've got to see Amari Gaynor, who I love Amari, take it to the next level. And he's got to do it in a position that he's not comfortable with, that he's not new. I joked with him. He was at my book bag drive, and I'm like, hey, you ready to mix it up with guys like me every play? Because that's what you're going to do. And we got I automatically have leverage on you. You're a tall, look like you chiseled out of rock, but I've got leverage. And then the same thing with Kalen DeLoach. Kalen DeLoach is a guy who I've heard good stuff about, but it's that time. And I love his dad, OG DeLoach. And then there were some rumors last year about him not being happy, but I've heard some good stuff out of camp. But over these next couple of weeks, it's got to transfer from good stuff to tangible things. And I think, I'm not going to ever put Logan in this category because I think Logan's been consistent. The problem is the way it's been covered. And our fan base is so Miami-ish in the fact that we're looking for anything to gravitate toward and suck into energy that might be positive, is that we had so many fluff pieces that it could be bad or it could be over the top good against Notre Dame. But we won't know until we see our guys go up against somebody who doesn't like each other, and we ask the same damn questions. How many years are we going to hear this is the closest this team has ever been to each other? How many years are we going to hear we bought in? How many years are we going to hear all of this stuff? We heard this Jimbo's last 2 years when it was clear that it wasn't happening. We heard it through every aspect of Taggart, and we heard it all last year. And I don't blame that on the coaches or the players. I blame it on the media for asking the same damn questions that you already know that they're going to that every player, every athlete has been trained to answer it. Either don't ask the question or ask a more creative way so that we can start giving the fans some real substance, because that's the hard part. Like, I don't know what to compare our D-line to, because our D-line was piss poor last year. And just because they're 2 sacks better than last year, that doesn't mean that's the standard. That means we still stink. And I believe Mike and the coaching staff are doing the right things, but the video that gets leaked, the articles that get written aren't telling me or showing me anything to make me want to go and bet that we're going to win 10 games, even though I do know the standard is 8. We better win 8, or we're going to be in some, not just like no coach. I mean, Mike Norvell may have to fire some people, but they're not firing coaches per se. It's just all the positive momentum.
Uh-oh. I think
there.
We see now. I hear you.
We got you.
I mean, you're blaming the media for everything, so I mean,
just what happens when you talk bad about our media.
Don't talk about the media. I'll cut you out of here.
All things being equal, we've done a phenomenal job of recruiting. We've done a phenomenal job of the things that we can control right now. I'd hate to see it all be derailed because people were afraid to tell the truth. And I think you were talking about, at least with, it actually, my bad. I hate to go back to Bobby. My only thing to go back to Bobby was I want everybody to show the same courage that they showed the last 3 seasons with Bobby Bowden to Florida State in general. Because, boy, they crucified the hell out of Jeff Bowden, rightfully so. Mm-hmm. Crucified the hell out of Bobby for a lot of people to be crying and talking about how great of a guy he was. So, I just want to make sure that we understand that you can talk about them and you can do your job. And I can tell you this, you don't have to have credentials to be able to do a damn good job, because some of the best media covering Florida State is coming out of No Game Day. I'm gonna give my guys pat my 5th quarter on the back too. MarkRogersTV here, Jay Peasy coming out of South Miami, coming out of the South. It's a bunch of stuff that you can get, and you ain't got to sugarcoat it. And again, I'm living testimony. There's pictures. The man was playing with my kid. He let him pick up my 2-year-old. We vibe. When I come home to Tallahassee, we talk. I smoke cigars with Dugans. I ain't smoked much of anything since I've been in the hospital. But when I get back healthy, we're going to smoke cigars and we're going to do other stuff. You can tell the truth and people will still rock with you. You don't have to lie. They get paid a lot of money to have thick skin. Just don't be disrespectful. That's the only thing you can. But again, we can tell the truth. It's okay. That's my public service announcement.